Hello everyone, welcome to a lecture series of a financial management. Today is the 8th lecture of a financial management. So in this 8th lecture, we are going to see various forms of a business organization. So as you know, there are the different forms of a business organization. So mainly it is classified into a basically it is called as a sole proprietorship. Second one it is called as a partnership, and the third one it is called as a limited company or joint stock company. Okay, so if anyone or if any individual he want to start a business, to start a business, uh, he needs some kind of an manpower. He need some kind of a capital. He need a land. He need a infrastructure to start a business. So this is a very basic requirement for any business to start. So if you see various types or the various forms of a business organization, so in the financial decision of a business organization, so they are infused into a great extent by form of a business organization. So the relevant laws governing them and the taxation laws are also applicable to such kind of a business organization. So if you see in this business organization, a lot of things has to be taken into a consideration to start a business. So if you see the forms of a business organization, so first one is called as sole proprietorship. So as you know, the sole proprietorship, if any one or if any individual he want to start his own business, so he is called as a sole proprietorship. So sole proprietorship is an he is the owner of that company. He himself is the manager. He himself is the owner, and he looks upon a different activities of the business. So if you see by definition, who called as a sole proprietorship, that we are going to see. So the definition of a sole proprietorship is a sole proprietor, or it is called as a sole trader. So he is the one who owns, runs and manages the business on his own account. So what the sole proprietorship, he himself is the owner of that company. So he himself manages different activities, starting from lower end to an upper end. So all the things it is managed, and all the things it is handled and controlled by the owner of that company. So he is called as a sole proprietorship. So sole trading concern is a form of a business organization wherein an individual invests his own capital, uses his own skill and intelligence, and is exclusively responsible for his results. So this is again a very good definition of a proprietorship. So sole proprietorship is a form of a business organization in which an individual he invests his own capital. So as you know, to start any business, we need a availability of funds. We need a lot of money. So how if any individual he use his own funds, he use his own money to start his own business, then he is called as sole proprietorship. So he alone has to use his own skill, he has to use his own talent, his techniques to grow and to stabilize the business. So there are some kind of features of this kind of a sole proprietorship. So if you see the features one by one, so there are mainly 7 features that we are going to see. So first feature is what? Ownership. Second is a limited capital. Third is centralization of authority. Fourth is legal status. Fifth is unlimited liability. Sixth is business secrecy. And seventh is no legal formalities. So these are some kind of a key features of this sole proprietorship. So if you see the ownership, so one person is the sole owner of the entire business. So he himself is the owner, he himself is the manager of that business. So his ownership goes directly to him only. So no other person uh, except him is the owner of that company. Second is what? A limited capital. So this is the second feature of a sole proprietorship. So limited capital, the entire capital required for the business is raised by a sole owner himself only. Therefore, there is a limited capacity to raise the capital. So as you know, if individual he want to start any business, if you want to start your own business, then you can take the help of your relatives, you can take the help of your friends, you can take the help of your different organization to raise the funds. But being as the owner of your own company, there is a limitation to raise the capital. So owner himself have to arrange the capital to start the business, to stabilize the business, as well as to grow the business. So the capital raised in such kind of a proprietorship is always limited. So because there is no any partner to run such kind of a business organization. So third one is what? Centralization of authority. So if you see, the management supervision and the control over the business is exercised by the sole proprietorship himself only. So all this management and control of the business, it is centralized, or all the authority it goes to one person only. So that is the manager of that company. So he himself is the supervisor, he himself is the manager, he himself is the uh, he himself is having the control over all the business activities. So all the authorities of the business, it is centralized to only a one person, so that who is nothing but the manager of that company, that is the owner of that company. Fourth one is the legal status. The sole trading concern has no legal existence independent of its owner. So there is no any so much legal existence which is independent of its owner. So no any, because there is no any partner. So there is no any kind of an agreement or no any kind of a bond between two or three or four persons. So there is no so much legal concern applicable to such kind of an sole proprietorship business. Fifth one is unlimited liabilities. So liability of a sole proprietor is unlimited. So obviously, as a single person, he is going to look on the business activities starting from one lower end to an upper end. Then all the liabilities it comes on the shoulder of that owner of the company. So it's an unlimited. So unlimited liability it comes on the business owner shoulders. Again, the business secrecy. So if you see the business secrecy, a maximum business secrecy is maintained in sole trading concern. Yes, because the single owner, he is the manager, or he is the owner of that company. So all the secrecy it is maintained. So there is no any exposure of the secrecy to any third party. All the secrecy it is maintained by himself only. So that is a very much beneficial for existence of the company, as well as for the growth of the company. Next one is no legal formalities. So there is no legal formalities for formation of sole trading concern. So as I said, so there is no so much a legal there is no so much legal protocols has to be followed for such kind of a sole proprietorship business. Again, if you see the merits and demerits, so many merits are there, advantages are there. The first one is called as the first one is an easy formation. So formation of such kind of a business strategy is very easy, because there is no any involvement of any two or three persons. A single person he can run, so he can take his own decision to run the business. So it is very easy to form such kind of a sole proprietorship. Second one is direct motivation. So he can himself has to motivate, or he can himself has to be enthusiastically work, so that he can motivate himself to run that business. So no any third person can come and motivate him. So all the motivation is gained by himself only. Third one is a quick decision. So yes, there is no any involvement of any other partners. So a decision of that company, whether the decision it is a risky decision, or whether the decision it is a good or bad, all it is decided by that owner of that company only. So he himself has the full authority to take a decision. When complete control and full secrecy can be maintained, by the owner of that company. So all the control of the business strategy is handled by the owner of that company, and full secrecy is maintained so that no any third party can expose such kind of a secrecy. Again, flexibility, because flexibility is also available in such kind of a sole proprietorship. So he or she can have a flexibility of a time, flexibility of a space. So no one is there to boss him, or no one is going to ask him any question about uh, time schedule or working time schedule on everything. So flexibility is there to such kind of a business organization. Next one, uh, easy easy dissolution is there, and a personal touch is there, because he himself is the owner. So obviously there is a personal touch, and there is an easy dissolution of the company can be done by himself. So uh, if you want to dissolve the company, or if you want to stop the manufacturing or production of the company, he himself is the responsible person for it. So there is no any third person is there. So no, there is no any third person is there to interfere in between them. So demerits are a limited capital is there. So because of the limited capital, only a single person is there who runs that business. So obviously there is the limitation of capital or limitation of arranging of funds is there. Again, limited management ability is there. So single person is there, so there is no any such kind of a management body is there or governance body is there who gives the suggestion time to time whenever the business it drops down. So that is one kind of a limitation. Again, unlimited liability is there. So single person is going to look over such kind of an activity, so liability it comes much more on the shoulders of that owner. Again, lack of separate legal entity. So there is no such kind of a legal advisor is there. So all the legal, whether almost it is a very less legal entity is there. So that legal entity it is handled by a single person only. And there is a lack of specialization. So one single person he can't get expertise in all the activities of a business. So there is a need of a different department of different sectors are there for specialization, but such kind of a case is not there in a sole proprietorship. So there is a lack of specialization. So this is some kind of a demerit for sole proprietorship. Now if you move to a partnership, so partnership it's a, as you know, the partnership it is a one kind of a business. It is run not only by a single person, but it is a group of two or three or four members who come together by some kind of objective. To fulfill that objective, they come together and they start the business. Now if you see, as per the Indian Partnership Act, which was established in 1962, has defined the partnership as the relation between the person who have agreed to share the profit of a business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. So this is a very good definition which has been defined. So what, it's a group of people who come together, who run some kind of a business activity, and we share the profit of a business among them, isn't it? So that is one kind of a definition. Second, in another way, we can also define the partnership is a form of a business organization in which two or more persons come to maximum of 20 join together to undertake some form of a lawful business activity. So this definition it tells that um, mostly maximum 20% they can come together to start any kind of a business activities. So if you see the features, the features are, first one is an agreement, second is lawful business, third is sharing of profit, fourth is lack of independence existence, fifth is unlimited liabilities. So agreement, so obviously so many people are coming together, and the mindset of so many people are different. So to have an trust or to have a reliability, agreement is done between all the partners. So partnership firm comes to an existence through an agreement between the two or more persons to carry on some lawful business. The agreement may be an oral or the written. So right now, if you see in the current scenarios, a written agreement it has been done in a partnership kind of a business. Second is lawful business. The partner of a firm agree to carry on some lawful business. It means that there must be some profit marking activity and it must be a lawful. Yes, all the activity it should be have all the activities which is done in such kind of a partnership business. We have some kind of a protocol. So that protocol it has to be followed by each and every individual of that company. Third one, sharing of a profit. So in partnership firm, a partner agree to share the profit of the firm in certain predetermined portion or equally. So all the sharing of a profit, it is defined by the partners among themselves, that how much sharing of a profit is there, whether they are going to share the profit equally or some partially sharing of the profit are going to be there. So all this has been written in the agreement before starting any kind of a business. Next one, lack of independence existence. A partnership firm has no separate legal existence independent of the partners, collectively called as the firm. Fifth one is unlimited liabilities. So liability of a partner of a firm is unlimited, joint and several. Now if you see the merits, first and demerits also is there. If you see the merit, so many merits are there. First one is a large capital. Yes, we can establish, we can raise so much capital from different peoples, as there is a joint venture of the people, so they can raise the funds to growth of the business. Second is easy formation. So formation of this such kind of a partnership is easy, as if you see nowadays government promotes to start any kind of a business under a skill India, digital India, make in India. So under this concept, uh, the government has made the formation of this business partnership so much easy. Again, the diversified skill and expertise, as so many people come together with the different skills and different techniques. So all these skills and techniques are utilized in the business or any organization to have the growth. Next one is flexibility in operation. So all the flexibility in operation maintained by it is maintained by and flexibility in operation, all it is maintained by a partnership among themselves. Again, division of a labor, as so many labors they come together to work out in the industry. So the load sharing or workload sharing in the business organization, it is shared among the labors. Next one, secrecy and motivation. So partnership all the partners they can have an weekly or monthly meeting, they can sit together, they can have a discussion among themselves. Also, if there is any up and downs in the industries, they can share the views. Also, they can motivate to each other to have a growth in the business. So all this activity or the motivation is possible in such kind of a partnership business. Now if you see the demerits are also there. So first one is unlimited liabilities. So yes, liability is there, but it is an unlimited, as but if you see as compared to sole proprietorship, this liability is less as compared to sole proprietorship, because the liability it comes only on the owner himself. He or she is only responsible for all the activities in sole proprietorship, but that is not in the case with the partnership. So the liability it is equally distributed among all the persons. Second one, limitation on manager skills and abilities. Yes, the limitation of manager skills is there in such kind of a partnership business. Again, no stability is there. So if you see different mindset people, they come together with the different views. So there may be a possibility that in future that all the partners they can get diversified from their business and they can dissolve the business. So that is a very important concern which has to be taken into consideration in partnership. Next is no public confidence and conflicts and dispute among the partners. So again, this is again one important concern has to be considered. So there may be a conflict, or there may be a misunderstanding, or there may be a different views between partners. So that because of the different issues, because of the unhonesty, because of the unreliability among the partners, they may have a different conflict and they may divide in future. So which is very harmful to such kind of a partnership business. So there one has to be a very transparent to run such kind of a business activity. Now if you see next one, so next one is limited company or joint stock company. So a joint stock or limited company, it is defined as a company according to Act of 1956. A company means a company registered under this act, or any existing company formed and registered under any of the previous Companies Act. So such kind of company is incorporated association with which is an artificial person created by law, having a separate entity, a common seal, and a perceptual succession. So that is called as a limited company. Now if you see the features, the features are the incorporated association. So company is an association incorporated that is registered under the Company Act, and such other special statutes are there. The registration is compulsory for registration is compulsory for each and every company. So unless and until you don't register under the Act of 1956, then we can't call it as an limited company. Second is artificial legal person. A company is a creation of a law, hence it is a cloth of many of the rights of a natural person, but it has no physical existence, so it is called as an artificial person. So the artificial legal person means what? Actually, there is no any existence of all the persons available in the company. Some person may be an artificially involved in the company, but who are not physically working there. So that is called as the artificial existence of a person. Again, the perceptual existence. So since a company is independent legal body, it has a perceptual existence unaffected by a death or insolvency of the member. So any uncertainty death of any person or insolvency, it doesn't affect the working functionality of such kind of an limited company. So that workload, it can be shared by another person. That charge, it can be given to another person, so that company can run smoothly. Having a common seal, a company has a common seal with the company name, which is engraved on it. A common seal attested by two directors and the secretaries serves as a signature of the company. So for authentication of for authentication purpose, some kind of an authority person is there. So that authority person is the directory and directors and secretary. So they can have a common seal with the company name, so we can be used for any documentary purpose. To authenticate any documentation, we need a seal of such kind of a higher authorities, directors and secretary persons. Again, are limited liabilities. So liability of a shareholders is limited to the extent of a face value of shares purchased by them. So here the liability is very less as compared to a private, as compared to sole proprietorship and partnership. And last one is transferability of a shares. So in the case of a public company, the shares are freely transferable. That is, they can sold or they can be bought through the stock exchange. So this is also possible in a limited company. Now if you see the merits are, it is beneficial to a society at a large, such kind of unlimited company. Second one is large capital. It can be raised with the help of a different with the help of so many people. Again, a perceptual succession is possible in such kind of unlimited company. The scope of expansion and growth of this such kind of companies uh, is greater as compared to partnership. Again, large scale operation, it can be done. Large scale operations can be done in such kind of a companies. Again, limited liabilities is there. These are some kind of a merits. Now again, if you see the demerits are a difficult formation and liquidation. So formation of such kind of a company, it requires so much legal process. Once they have to undergo so much legal documentation, then and then only such kind of a company it can get formed. And the second one, excessive legal control is required for such kind of an company. So a legal advisor or legal separate advisor committee or body is there. So we give the advices to such kind of a company time to time during the difficult as well as growth time. Again, the separation of ownership and management is there. Lack of secrecy. So secrecy of such kind of a company, it is not secure. So there may be a lack of a there may be a leakage of a secrecy in such kind of an limited company to a third party. So the third party, they can take a due advantage of such kind of an limited company, which is not good for any organization. Okay, so these are the three uh, business formations we have seen, various forms of business organizations: sole proprietorship, partnership, and joint stock company or a limited company. In detail we have seen. So this is enough for our today's lecture. In next lecture we'll continue for next point. Till then, thank you.